7:44. Following the scare on the Strip this past Saturday night with people hearing false reports of an active shooter, panic set in. Joining us now on Behind the Badge with how Metro keeps tourists and locals safe on the Strip are Officer Misael Parra and Captain Joshua Bitsko. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us, Alyssa. And yeah, unfortunately, we've seen several shootings throughout the country in the last few months.
Yeah.
And I think it has people feeling on edge, and rightfully so. You know, we saw an example of that over the weekend here in Las Vegas. But we know that that's something they're thinking of, but so are we. And we have a lot of resources in place on the Strip to help keep the public safe. So that's why I have here Captain Joshua Bitsko from the Convention Center Area Command to talk about a few of those things.
Okay, so you oversee the Strip as part of your area command. How do you avoid something like this from happening with panic setting in?
Well, as far as avoiding it, it's going to be difficult to avoid certain situations like this. It's incumbent on our officers to rely on their training and immediately respond. Like the situation over the weekends, we had officers at the MGM, and we also rely on our security partners, which security in this incident took the subject into custody immediately. So on top of that, when we do respond to something like this, we respond because we get reports, treat it serious. But once we realize it's not, then we go into trying to reassure the public, which we did that night. We had officers out on their PA system, reassuring the public this is a false alarm. Our PIO also put out immediately on social media, hey, this was false reports, to try and mitigate that.
Yeah, and the response was very quick. We learned, as you mentioned, almost immediately that these were false reports of a shooting. There are still misconceptions. People don't want to believe the reports that came out, said, no, I saw a rock can't do that to glass. But I mean, a lot of people, I think, were scared. As you mentioned, Officer Parra, people are on edge from recent shootings. And we even spoke with someone who was out on the Strip who was at 1 October, and this brought back memories and the panic that people lived through and experienced then. So other than trying to dispel something right away, someone got injured while running away, what would be the best way for someone to respond in a moment of threat? Is it running out as fast as you can? What can we do?
Well, there's national standards and training for what citizens need to do in response to active shooter, the run, hide, fight training. But what I'll say is try and remain as calm as possible. Take direction from officers or security, because they're going to have the most up-to-date and real-time information.
Okay.
And I'll take it a step further too, is while trying to remain as calm as possible, also try and practice responsible social media posting, because it may inflame a situation that's already very inflamed.
Right, because we know that the rumors did spread to other properties as well. Now, you mentioned working with security. How does that partnership help you guys in situations like this, and hopefully we don't see more?
Well, yeah, we will only be successful as a police department if we're partnering with the community, and that includes our security partners and the resorts. So we are in constant communication, immediate communication. And even that night, my management team was in communication with the MGM, instantaneous. And we were able to, that's how we were able to dispel that there was not an actual active assailant. It's because of that communication. And then we can have a unified front and the messaging, because if we're saying one thing and our security partners are saying another thing, then that's just going to add to the chaos. But that wasn't the case that night, and it never is, because we have a great relationship with them.
And we just recently, we got, of course, we have the video of everybody running out of the MGM and the rock thrower who was arrested, and I believe arrested on charges of property damage. Is there anything else he could be charged for causing widespread panic like that?
So our detectives are currently working with the district attorney to see if there is a more applicable charge. But however, yes, as of right now, he has been charged with the malicious destruction of private property.
Okay, and he was trespassed from that property earlier in the day, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, well, thank you guys for, you know, calming that panic as quickly as you could on Saturday night. Of course, in our community too, it just brings up such terrible memories. So yeah, thank you for that. And
Alyssa, and I want to bring up a good point. We always have a lot of cops on the Strip to make sure everybody feels safe. If anybody ever sees anything that they feel is suspicious, we encourage them to walk up to an officer, and if not, call 911 to report it, because if we don't know about it, then we can't look into it. So if you see something, say something.
Okay, thank you for that. And if you at home have a question for Metro, send us an email to behindthebadge@fox5vegas.com.